First of all, I'd like to thank the one for being here today. Look forward to this conversation. And I'd like to invite you to share any opening comments that you might have for the group.
It is always our great enjoyment and our honor to be here with you. We thank you for this opportunity. We are grateful for all of you who have joined us today and all of those who will be listening in points in your future. It is a beautiful day to connect. We thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Would anyone like to raise their hand to ask the first question?
Do not be shy. We are here to help. We are here for you.
I will get started and warm up the questioning. I'm always full of questions. Actually, Mark raised his hand. I'll give him a chance.
Had to unmute there. So my question is, I still have problems flipping my light switch, like we talked about, and trying to get any type of feedback from my guides. I just don't have any type of connection, and I'm wondering how I can reset that light switch or keep flipping it. I'm trying to get some guidance on that.
So whenever you are trying to connect, it is a process and it is a practice. And it has a couple of parts to it. One is opening yourself up, opening your antenna, if you will, to receive information, to receive signals. But then the other part is also recognizing when you have received a signal or a sign or information. So the first part of opening your antenna, part of that is being still and being open to receiving the signals. And by open, we mean not analyzing them too much. Once you begin analyzing, you have now dropped out of the vibration in which the signal is being transmitted. So it is a matter of slowing down, pausing your analytical brain, the left side of your brain, if you will, and allowing for a different kind of communication, a more spherical communication rather than linear. The communication may come in images, it may come in feelings, it may come in synchronicities, it may come in the form of a billboard that you are driving by and you happen to look up. Many times as humans, all of these signals are just background noise. They are not recognized. So it takes a bit of effort on both parts to make the connection. Then to recognize that it is actually a signal or a sign from your higher self that is making a connection with your guides. So what is it that you have been experiencing? Perhaps we can help you more specifically.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said I think he said left side of my brain is that I'm always thinking. I'm always nonstop trying to analyze a situation, and my mind does not relax to let things in, like signs or anything like that.
Sure, this is a very common issue. It is getting better for humanity at this time, but it is a common issue or a common complaint for you, if you will. So we would just ask, you can begin very simply. A common way to start is recognizing numbers, the repeated numbers. Pay attention to when they happen and know that that is a tap on the shoulder for you to pay attention. This is a good place to start. It's an easy place to start. Then begin noticing other things. If you're thinking about something and suddenly there's an exterior sign, literally a billboard or a song. Songs are great ways to communicate. Just be open to the signal may come in any form and allow that to be the signal. And if you're not sure, just say yes. I think that's the sign. I think that's the answer I was looking for. What often happens also is that you're not sure. So you say, what? In the meantime, all the time that you're asking what or why or what does it mean, there's no room to get the answer in between your questions. Do you
That's true.
understand what we're saying?
Yeah.
It's like the toddler who's asking why, and as the parent, you never even get a chance to explain or to answer the question before there's the next one that's coming. So just allow, there's plenty of answers there for you. There's plenty of data there for you. And once you begin to recognize what's coming your way, then you can tune into it more often. You can trust it more often, and it will become second nature. This particular channel, Lauren, being an accountant and having been trained as an engineer as well, had a great deal of trouble with this. So in order to get through to her, we had to bombard her literally with many signs, many signals before she paused long enough to even catch one of them. And then she was very resistant to any of it, didn't want any of it. So there had to be more bombardment, larger signals, larger signs, more information before she even accepted that that is what was happening. So just allow. It's all right. It's okay. And
Okay.
your timing is perfect whenever it is. It's okay.
Okay.
Part of it is just saying, yes, I would like to receive information. I would like to receive guidance. And then pausing long enough to get that guidance.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just slow down.
So some clarity on that question. You mentioned numbers.
Yes.
So a message that might come through is a matter of paying attention to specific numbers or number sequences. Is that correct?
Yes, and part of it is just getting you to slow down long enough to notice the numbers. For instance, your clocks have numbers on them, particularly your digital clocks. And that is a very easy way for us to signal you that we are around. So when you're seeing your 222 or 444, know that that is a sign and it's a good beginning opening to receiving information. But if you don't slow down long enough to even see those numbers, well, it takes a little bit longer.
What
Just
about physical signs or asking specifically, send me a white shell or a blue jay feather, something specific like that? Is that appropriate to ask for?
that can work. It might not work right off the bat. You may get a different bird's feather. You may just get a feather. Now, if you go, well, it isn't exactly the feather I was looking for, so it must not be a sign. That kind of exacting, protracting attitude makes it a lot harder for you because you may miss plenty of things that are all around it, but you were only very narrowly looking for a particular thing. So while you're very narrowly looking for a particular thing, you're missing all kinds of other wonderful information.
And when asking for that sign and asking to make that connection, as our minds are so busy, is it necessary to be in that meditative state to make that clear connection?
Well, certainly when you're in a meditative state, you're in a higher vibration, and that makes the connection between us and you a lot easier. It's a bandwidth mismatch if you are angry or tired or in fear. If you are in joy, it's a lot easier to connect with you. So consider your own emotions, your own thoughts that are causing the emotions. And if you are angrily asking for a sign because you're angry, it's going to be a lot harder to get through to you because that's a different frequency than we are on. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
We understand that meditating is not the easiest thing for many people. For some people, they can just flow into it. Other people, it takes effort. But like anything else that you do, whether it's playing the piano or playing tennis or math, it does take practice. Allow yourself the practice. And the fun thing about meditation is it doesn't have to be formal. It could be while you're driving the car. It could be while you're doing the dishes. When your society was more agrarian, there was plenty of time to be outside, to be grounded, and to be doing things that were repetitive with your hands, which allowed your mind's freedom. Right now, you have an extraordinary bombardment of signals. So it's a lot more for you to weed through and figure out which are the ones from us. We understand that. Be patient with yourself and us to make the connections. And if you can allow yourself more time in between or quiet time in between without the to-do list, without thinking about the past or the future, if you can be for a moment in the now, it'll become easier for you.
The word that keeps getting teased out of these conversations, it is the word playful.
Yes. Think about children. They go at things with such curiosity and joy. And that also is a very good way to approach making connection with spirit, with your guides, with your passed on loved ones, with whomever you would like to make a connection. If you go into it with hesitation or fear, that makes it a lot slower. That is now something that has to be overcome. When you go at it with curiosity and joy and won't this be interesting? I wonder what I will learn today, or what will I experience? What will I get out of this? What will I be shown? And how can I help others with whatever I learn? That is a much better, more positive attitude to go into it. If you are afraid of what you are going to find out, afraid of what you're going to see, you've already set the bar really low and made it fear-based. And that's now something that has to be overcome. So if you can let that go, as much as you can let that go, and just go with curiosity and assume that it will be a positive experience, go in with that intention, it'll be much better for you.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, that was wonderful. Thank you. Give people an opportunity to raise their hand.
Thank you, Mark. That was a great question.
I I have a question specifically about paranormal issues. Across the planet, people report apparitions. Um, there's a couple specific ones that are generally, in my opinion, related to trauma. But one is referred to as the Hat Man, and one is the Old Hag. Uh, People often experience this. People close to me have experienced this in a state of sleep paralysis, and they see these apparitions when they're fully alert as well. Are these sentient beings, and are they teachers, demons, or symptoms of a health issue?
They could be any of the above. Some of this is specific to the person who is seeing that. There's also a collective consciousness that creates these. Humanity does not understand their ability to create. So the more people who find out about this, the more the idea of something begins to solidify and have particular characteristics. So for each person, the Hetman might be terrifying or it might be a grandfatherly figure. It just depends on your frame of reference. Mostly, we would ask that you, if it causes you fear, if it makes you ill in your stomach, that you ask for the light to be brought to the situation. You have plenty of light of your own to shine on the situation. And if there is a message for you, take it with a grain of salt, is your saying. Not all messages are meant for your highest good. Some of them are meant to manipulate. There's a great deal of fear on the planet right now. There always is, but it is easier, the fear is easier to access right now because of your information that is available. So consider if anything makes you feel frightened. Number one, ask, but is it real? Is it manipulation? Is it even yours? Sometimes it's not. And as far as the things that are in other dimensions, they do not have to be frightening and they do not have to have anything to do with you. There is a lot going on all the time that you may not perceive, and that's okay. When you begin to open up and perceive things, you don't necessarily have to wonder what every single thing is that exists. Consider the traffic that goes by your home. Do you need to know who's in every single car that goes by? No. It's okay. Let it be. So these things, they get a connotation attached to them, whether they are real or not. And some of that is just cultural. Some of it is your ability to create things that frighten you. Think about all of your movies that have been designed to frighten you. Humans love the charge that is created with scary movies or even roller coasters. That's okay. But be careful how much energy you put into the images and the thoughts, that you don't create something that you then have to disassemble later. Does that answer your question?
Yes, partially.
Okay. What else?
In some cases, there are reports where these apparitions appear sentient. So is that a creation or a collective archetype? Or is that something that the person is actually giving energy to that then radiates sentience back? Or is it existing? Is it its own being that is trying to interact with our dimension?
It could be its own being trying to interact. There are many beings that are trying to interact with humans. You'd have to be far more specific because there are a lot. Just as channeling is becoming something that is more available to people, that is, something outside of humanity, trying to connect, trying to help, trying to give information, guidance. That doesn't necessarily mean that every entity that is trying to connect is there for the positive. You just have to feel your way through it, and it would have to be a case by case basis. Some of it is a projection of the person's ego. They think there are scary things out there, therefore there are for them. And for others, it may be nothing at all. Your question is very general. So
It is. Um,
are there things out there? Yes, there are.
yes. Uh, there's, I recall hearing a story specifically regarding the Hat Man, which seems to be an archetype that people are experiencing across the globe. Um, and
And what
there's
is it
one,
there? What are they experiencing with this?
they're experiencing a silhouette of a man who has a fedora style hat, and he's often seen kind of like a static electricity. And he's described as being darker than dark. So in a dark room, it's like the absence of light, shaped like a man.
Beyond that, what else? Beyond
Um,
appearance, what else?
it's often associated with sleep paralysis. Um, there's fear associated with it, but there are also stories of um, those who have interacted with this being, and if they face the fear, they're taken to, you know, it's like a passing a mythological test, or they're leveling up their awareness somehow. But often it's associated, there's a very visceral fear response to this interaction.
So it is a popular icon for fear. Consider it to be that.
Okay.
It is your boogeyman. And if you give it power, again, it is a projection of your own mind, your own fear for you to experience, to figure out what it is you are afraid of. What is it in your life that makes you feel not safe? It's an opportunity to unravel that for yourself. What is going on? Is it your job? Is it your relationship? Because when you're sleeping, you now don't have your conscious mind to run the narrative with that. So all of this can be expressed when that conscious mind has taken a break. Now, these things that need to be addressed have floated to the surface. Whatever that looks like for you. Could be your hat man, could be a giant spider, could be anything. Whatever it is that causes you to feel fear, that you now need to figure out what that is about. What's going on? It's not the icon, it's you. What are you feeling? What's going on? It's just a signal. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. It's the perfect segue for my next question.
Okay.
On the subject of nighttime boogeyman, I'd like to ask about the phenomenon of alien abduction events and experiences. These stories are often traumatizing for experiencers, but there are also experiencers who recount positive experiences, education, and love. Have these entities been visiting humans since the beginning? And are they using us for our benefit with a loving intent? Or is the intent purely parasitic?
So, yes, they have been visiting from the beginning. They're part of what seeded the planet and created humanity that you see in front of you now. Anytime there is what you call an abduction, consider that it is actually an agreed upon event like any other experience in your life. Before coming in, you agreed to do this or that or the other, including something like abductions. So, all of these experiences in the moment may seem frightening or against your will, but they're actually part of the larger picture that you did sign up for. And it is for the greater good of humanity. Some of these are just checking in to see how is the human experience going? What's going on with the bodies? Think about this. There have been many changes in your food supply. What is that doing to your bodies? So, one of the ways for extraterrestrials to figure that out is to find out physically. And some of them have not happened. Some of them are emotional phenomena rather than physical phenomena. Think about something that may have been a really bad experience in your life, but actually turned out to be the best thing that could ever have happened to you. In the moment, it seems terrible, but in fact, it's actually bad for you in the moment, but it's actually a good thing for you all around. But all experiences are agreed upon. We had this discussion before on one of these calls about fate, and that there is no external fate, it's all internal. It's your choices, your free will, experiences that you signed up for. Allow them. If you don't understand them, ask. Ask your guides. Ask a therapist, ask someone who can help you see a bigger picture. Does that help?
Yes, thank you. I have a question for a guest that typed in and couldn't make the call. Her husband is considering a sabbatical, but they're managing quite a lot right now between a home business and children, and other changes that are coming up for them. Can you give her any feedback on timing for this sabbatical?
Why is he taking a sabbatical? What is the
To
purpose behind it?
my understanding is that it is to regroup and reimagine what his business structure should be moving forward.
Okay. And is she uncomfortable with him taking this time?
I think they are, as a family, they are wary because they have financial obligations and children to support.
It is a big decision. It is a good idea, but yes, the timing can make it more difficult or a bit easier, and the length of it as well. Our advice would be for them to lean into when it feels most appropriate to do this and to make that sabbatical as effective as possible. And what we mean by that is if you're going, let's say you are going to take a vacation. If you spend your entire vacation worrying about work or worrying about home, you haven't actually succeeded in taking the vacation because you have not allowed yourself to experience it fully because your mind, your consciousness was all someplace else. So, with that, take the sabbatical, make it effective. Whatever it takes to do that, do that. Don't make it ineffective with worries about finances or other obligations. Do you see?
Yes, I think that's a very clear response. Thank you.
So feel into when would be most appropriate and then actually go for it and make it happen. Make it very effective. Come out of it with everything that you had wanted so that you can be more effective on the other side of it as well and clear.
And just for clarity on feeling into it, so the feeling should be one of excitement, of
Curiosity. And as far as timing goes, what timing gives you the best ping? Where do you find the most excitement? Where do you find the most fear? Okay. Steer towards the excitement. This would be the best time to do it. And look beyond just the logical logistics.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to ask a question on behalf of one of our guests. If we sense that we are seeing a sign and we want to open up to receiving communications, is there some way to tell in advance whether the signal is from a positive, benevolent entity so we don't take the risk of opening up to a being with malevolent intent or manipulation? Or is there a way to tell quickly after receiving communications so we don't continue to communicate with negative entities?
So the good thing about being human is that you have a great barometer for this kind of thing. How does it make you feel? How does the information make you feel? And we don't mean necessarily, does it not necessarily agree with exactly what you're thinking? This is part of expanding your knowledge and your experience. But does it make you sick to your stomach? Do you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach that makes you queasy or uncomfortable? And if you're receiving any advice that does not recognize your free will, it is not the best advice. It is not from the best place. All guidance should be just that, guidance. Just like what we gave about the sabbatical. How does it make you feel? It understand also that messages don't always resonate immediately. Sometimes it is a sprinkling of seeds. Allow the message to come and then see if it makes sense now or later. Sometimes it makes sense later. That's okay. If you are in fear that the messages you are receiving are from a non-benevolent entity, then cease all connection immediately. Why would you continue? Why even ask? If it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel loving, if it doesn't feel like it has your best interest at heart, walk away. Withdraw your attention, period. Do you understand the difference between not understanding a message and a message not being for your highest and best good?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. What else?
So if a message, sometimes a message might be interpreted as feeling good, but sometimes the message comes through and it might not always have a positive ring to it. So your physical sensation might be different than the actual words that are coming through. Are there certain trigger words to pay attention to if it is coming from a less than desirable source?
No, because if someone is trying to trick you, they will not use something that will give you that signal immediately. Well, you will feel the signal. Here's something to consider. How do the messages make you feel? We are asking you all to begin using that as your barometer for making decisions rather than your thinking brain, because you might be being told exactly what you want to hear. That doesn't make it the best guidance for you. So sometimes the guidance that you get is going to ask you to stretch. That's okay. And it may not resonate immediately, but it may resonate at a later time. For instance, this channel, Lauren, was told that she was a healer. We've already told you that she rejected all of this to begin with. Some of that was fear based on the experiences she had as a child. She wanted nothing to do with any of this. It took a long time for her to feel safe in her gifts and what she was receiving. It's okay. Take the time. See how you feel about it. Not intellectually how you feel about it, but how you actually feel about it. Does that make sense?
Yes. All that said, may we also clarify with questions like, are you from the light? Are you for my best and highest good?
Yes, absolutely. You can ask those questions. If there's any doubt, you can ask those questions.
And that entity, and generally speaking, that entity or consciousness cannot lie.
Well, they do it all the time, but it's going to cause a disruption that you will feel. And that's your signal that you didn't like the answer didn't feel right. It's up to you. And some of this is experiences that you signed up for in order to be able to discern the difference. And that's okay too. It now becomes a story that you are able to tell that helps others. That's okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another question from the group. What is the best way to keep oneself clear from any negative energy?
Raise your vibration. And what we mean by that is if you consider frequency bandwidths. So if your average frequency is high enough, then these lower vibration, lower frequency thought forms, entities cannot exist in the same space as you. Neither can illness. If you are frequently or consistently angry or in grief or frustrated or in guilt, you are lowering the vibration of your physical body, which allows illness to creep in. So, in particular, the best thing you can do for yourself is to be happy. That is to find the joy, to find the beauty every day in small things and in large things. That way you are not in the frequency that matches these other things. Does that make sense?
Yes. So as a follow-up to that question from the group is, but doesn't the dark energies go to the light? Can they attach to one with light?
Not really, because it is physically impossible if you consider the two different frequencies. Now, that doesn't mean that someone who has a lower vibration doesn't attack you because they are jealous or envious of you or don't understand you, but that's a human interaction. The brighter you are, the harder it is for anything that is not light. Understand, there is light and there is dark. Dark is simply an absence of the light. So wherever you bring light, there is no longer dark. Even if it's a single match lit in a dark room, now there is light. And all of you have plenty of light to shine.
Can objects hold negative energies?
Of course, any being quantum beings that you are, any strong emotion that you have, any strong emotion that you have sustained gets absorbed, picked up by the objects in the environment around you. This is how people can pick up an object and tell you all about who owned it or what its past history was, or you can walk into a place and feel what has gone on there, whether it was yesterday or 200 years ago. So yes, consider your great joy or your great anger or your great grief like an energetic sneeze. It gets on everything. So things will hold that energy, which is why it's a good idea to learn how to clear the energy of items in your house or things that you are purchasing or bringing into your house. Clear them first so they are yours and not someone else's.
Can you recommend a good clearing ritual for objects?
There are classes that are very good that go into this in detail. This is not the appropriate forum to explain all of that, but understand that you can, with your intention, clear an object of whatever might be in it. You don't even necessarily need to know what is there. You can simply clear it. Or there are people who are very good at feeling into it and discerning what its history is and what kind of environment it was in last, whether it was a happy environment or a very uncomfortable environment. So that is a much longer answer than we can provide at this time.
Understood. How do we keep our pets clear from negative energies?
Love them. Love them, protect them, mind your own emotions around them. Just like you do with your children, they absorb, they pick up lots of energy, far more than as an adult that you'll even realize is out there. So the good thing about our pets is they are automatically clearing themselves all the time. They are automatically grounding themselves. So if you feed them good food, clear water, clean water, and give them lots of love, they should be okay.
Thank you.
That's part of their job.
Thank you. I'd like to remind anyone who came in late that if you have a question, you can simply let me know in the chat, or you can use the react icon at the bottom of your Zoom screen and click the raise hand tool. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, going back to communicating with guides again. Is the use of a pendulum a good way to get even just yes or no answers from guides, or is that something frowned upon? Or I've never really used one, but I do know people that do. I just wonder if that would be good for me.
It can be. For you, it is a good physical answer. And yes or no is a fine way. Do practice with it and see if you can gain a facility. It is a tool. So the more practice that you have with it, the clearer your answers will be. Understand that those answers are coming from your higher self. So it is you, but it is you, the you who is connected to a much broader intelligence, a larger field. So these kinds of, they used to be called divination tools. It's fine, whatever you are comfortable with, and if you gain some facility with it, then that becomes your tool, your go-to, until you don't need it anymore. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure if I'm clear on that. You said something as um, answering myself, or
So because you are holding the pendulum, the answers that are coming through you. It is your hand, not someone else's, but it is your higher self that is bringing the energy through you to answer the question.
okay.
Did that clear that up?
But it's from my guides. I'm getting the answer from a
Yes.
guide. But okay.
Yes. Your guide is in connection, is in conversation, if you will, with your higher self that is helping you process the answer.
Got it. Thank you.
In particular, because the guide is not yet able to communicate directly with you yet. So things like a pendulum for you is a nice visual tool to use. Did that clarify it?
Yeah.
Good.
The next question is about family illnesses. We are told that illnesses, quote unquote, run in our families. What should we do, think, or feel when someone in our family is diagnosed with an illness that may be hereditary?
At this time, there are whole generations of you now who are breaking these thought forms, this structure of illness that must run in a family. Understanding that some of it is actually environmental. It is the physical habits that are taught within a family that cause similar illnesses, and the idea is generated that these illnesses will be in the family. Well, my mother, my uncle, my whomever had such and such, therefore I will get it too. So you have just set an intention, you have just stated something. And that does not necessarily have to be the case unless you have signed up to experience it and for whatever benefit for yourself, or you could be the one in the family who breaks that chain of experiences. So take any of these potentials as just that, a potential, and see, feel what it means to you. If someone in your family is diagnosed with something, do you have the exact same life experience, the exact same philosophy, the exact same spirituality as this person? Potentially not. Therefore, your life experience and what you can expect out of life can be different. Also, the people who are on this call and receiving this message understand that they can talk to their bodies and their bodies will listen. We are talking all the time. You just don't realize it. So an illness may be an opportunity to begin to look at your physical being differently. It's just a matter of what kind of experience do you require in your life to begin having a more positive conversation with your physical being. Some people, it takes an accident. Some people, it takes a diagnosis. Some people can just learn from seeing or hearing and embody that lesson themselves. Your body is designed for health. So if it is not healthy, begin asking why. What is going on that is making it unhealthy? What do I need to get out of this experience? Sometimes illness is a permission slip to rest, whereas otherwise you feel obligated to go and go and go constantly. But an illness or a hospitalization or a surgery or a car accident is a valid reason to rest. So consider any of those times that might have happened in your own life. It may have started when you were in school as a child. There's something going on at school you do not wish to experience, and therefore you are sick. That sets a precedent in your mind that if you're sick, you get to rest. Consider how that can be unwound so that you can get the rest you need without the validating illness to go with it. Consider resting anyway. Part of 2020 was the beginning of allowing people to say no. That was a permission slip to not go to the family gathering, to not go to the group, to not feel obligated to attend, and allowing people to rest. So just think about that. It's an experience that humans have, particularly women, that it would be great to see some of the energy of that thought dissolved so that you can take the rest when you need to, so that you can say no when you need to, so you can say yes when you want to, not out of obligation. Go back to the sabbatical, make it effective. Take the break, make it effective. And go back when you're refreshed and ready and energized with new ideas and excitement. That was probably a bigger answer than you were looking for.
That was particularly helpful for me, so thank you.
Many of you on this call can have the opportunity to rest and to say no and to take breaks so that you are refreshed and bring your best rather than the best you can scrape up at the time. You had careers filled with drudgery, square peg in a round hole, shaving off bits of yourself to conform, to perform. We are excited to see this beginning to fall away. What else do you have? So going back to the illness, you can choose to embrace it and embody that illness or not. Consider that. You don't have to identify with it. It does not have to become yours unless there's something in that experience for you to learn from. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mark, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so would that be considered a type of manifestation? Am I getting that term correctly?
Sure. You need the excuse to get off of work. I shall be sick. How long do
Or
you
the
need off? How large of an illness do you need in order to get the time off that you would like? It may also be the only time that someone takes care of you. Think about that. If you are incapacitated, people have to take care of you. They don't have to, but it may be the only time that you get taken care of. You may be spending all of your time taking care of others. And this is the time when people have the opportunity to show up for you. Now, that experience is another story as to whether the ones you hope and expect to show up for you do or do not. And some of that experience is set up to understand that dynamic as well. There are many layers to this, but yes, you can manifest an illness just like the stomach ache as a child so that you don't have to go to school and take the test. Just
I'm,
the adult version of it.
I'm thinking about it the other way too. Like, I don't want prostate cancer, so I'm saying I'm not going to get it. That type of.
So whatever you put energy into, whether you are for it or against it, you are still putting energy into that thing. So it's like saying, I don't want to spill on my dress. I don't want to spill on my dress. I don't want to spill on my dress. The universe is only hearing spill on the dress. So rather than saying something you don't want and repeating that mantra in your head, in the background, what do you want? You want great health. You want vitality, whatever that means to you. Claim that and let the other go. Set your vibration equal to health unless you need the experience of ill health for some other reason or reasons. But if you can more fully fulfill your life purpose in a healthy manner, then focus on health and vitality rather than the absence of illness. They are not the same.
Okay.
Do you
Thanks.
see the difference?
I do now.
Good. With all of this, rather than trying to avoid something you don't want, look in the other direction. What do you want? Lauren uses a salad dressing example in her coaching of getting stuck on repetitive thoughts that don't serve you. So if, for instance, your favorite dressing is dressing X and dressing Y is your absolute least favorite, if you are going along the buffet of life and you get to the salad dressings and dressing Y, the one that you absolutely hate, is first, how long are you going to stand in front of the dressing you hate, complaining about it and squawking about it to anyone and everyone who will listen. And in your own mind, you can't believe this horrible dressing is sitting there when right next to it is your favorite dressing. Might you just skip over the dressing you don't want and praise effusively the dressing that you do? This is what you do with repetitive thoughts. Rather than spewing that dressing you hate all over the room, splatting on everything, what is the dressing you love? And go on with the joy of that. Does that metaphor help?
Yes, very much. Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, what is your least favorite salad dressing?
I don't know. I don't know. Now you kind of got me on the spot right now, but
What is your favorite dressing?
I just like oil and vinegar with some herb seasoning in it.
So then your least favorite dressing will be some thick, heavy, clunky dressing.
Blue cheese.
Blue cheese. It's got chunks. It's thick. Smells funny. Yeah. Think about the blue cheese dressing and ask yourself about your thoughts. Is this blue cheese dressing or is it the wonderful herbaceous fresh oil and vinegar instead? And now we know you're all going to go around talking about blue cheese dressing and no one will understand why. That's okay. That's okay.
I love the metaphor.
It is descriptive.
Yeah. We have another question from the group. A friend of mine has a 30-year-old son who has stage 4 cancer and is refusing treatment. Doctors say he has a year or less to live, and he's increasingly in pain. Do you have any advice for how the parents of this young man can help him through this transition and how to help themselves through this ordeal?
This is a great question. We'll go back to the premise that everyone involved in this all signed up for this experience for many reasons. Rather than him leaving suddenly, say let's say in a car accident, and then they suddenly had to come to terms with his passing, he is giving them enough time to come to terms with it, enough time to potentially resolve unresolved issues with them, with others, for themselves. This is also a great lesson to respect other people's choices. He has chosen this way to pass for his own reasons, and they are graced to provide him with the grace and honor to pass the way he wishes. It does not make it easy, but it is an opportunity for them to understand and experience unconditional love, patience, providing service that is not on their terms. There's a lot of ego lessons involved in this. It is a beautiful opportunity for everyone. If they fight it and disagree with it, that too is a lesson. Everyone has a choice of how they wish to spend his remaining time. They can choose to spend it in beauty and grace, even though it may be hard to witness, but they are getting to bear witness to that and allowing it to be a beautiful experience. Or one fraught with disagreement, frustration, confusion, and grief. Part of what you are all learning at this time is how to respect each other, respect each other's experiences, choices, understanding, great understanding or limited understanding, and allow each person to go along their path, their experiences, the things that they signed up for, may be very different from yours, and that's okay. Look at the lessons that are on your path rather than judging the ones that are on other people's paths. It's okay for people to have struggles. There's a great deal that this young man is learning. His soul is learning. Understand, we're all having soul adventures. Whether you're conscious, whether you're unconscious, whether you're asleep, whether you're doing the dishes, driving down the highway, having an illness, having a baby, having a fight, or having a laugh. A lot of what you think determines how pleasant your experience will be. We've talked about this before. If you think it is wrong, or any of the cousins to wrong, unjust, unfair, not right, those are all based on a thought. And who said? Who said the length of his life, your life, their life is not perfect? It may be exactly perfect for all that you are choosing to come in to do and to experience. If you can release the judgment that anything is wrong, if the word should comes up in your vocabulary, understand that that is a judgment. He should experience this in his life. He should have this. He should have that. Based on what? Based on what? If you can all allow each other to have these experiences, what may be good or bad, again, it's just a snapshot in the moment, then you can all learn so much more and be so much more joyful. We were talking earlier about the snapshot of a bad experience. This channel, Lauren had to get hit by a car and her body to fly 10 feet in order for her to even consider pausing for a moment for anything to get through. In the moment, it looked terrible. It looked like the worst experience of her life. However, the bigger picture is that it was the best experience of her life. You find this very often with parents who have what you might consider disabled children. They learn so much from these beings. So I would encourage these parents to be open to the experience, find the joy that is in it, and see what it is that they signed up to learn in the way of supporting him and supporting each other. And maybe they will have a story to tell to help others later on. There's much love to be shared in this experience, if it is allowed.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much. If you have any closing statements, please share those with the group.
We do. So the common theme through here is be aware of your thoughts and how they color your experiences. And how do you know what you're thinking? How does it make you feel? If you feel that something is wrong or bad or scary, it will register within your body. So look at that. Rather than thinking that something is bad or wrong or scary, you can ask with curiosity, what is this showing me? Why is this in my experience? Is it something just to be beaten down and beaten back? Because if it is, it will show back up again because it has not been addressed. It is unresolved. So if all of your experiences are an opportunity to learn or to teach or to help, then if you can hold off your emotional reaction for a moment and ask what's really going on here. What am I getting out of this? What can I learn from this? What can I do to share joy, to share love, to share understanding, or to gain love or joy or understanding for myself. Just consider if everyone did that, the reduction of, say, road rage. If you allowed everyone on the road to have their experience and stay in your lane, having your experience, and being joyful or curious or maybe sending love and peace to someone else who is struggling. You all have that capacity for understanding, that capacity for compassion, because you've all been through experiences that were hard. We ask you all to find your peace, find it often, find it every day, find what's pretty, find what makes you smile, find what makes you laugh, and experience it often, every day. Incrementally, your overall vibration will rise if you do that. If instead you focus on the exceptions of what went wrong, in your opinion, or not to expectation, or was aggravating, ask why, and is it really true? Is it still true? Or is it a throwback to a judgment that you learned in the last century? Is it a structure that you learned in the last century? What if that structure weren't there? Could you be joyful instead and allow that? We are very thankful for the opportunity to speak with you, to share these experiences with you, to help you in any way that we can, and to give you more obvious signs and signals for you to process. But still, keep an open eye and an open ear. We are always here. We thank you again for the honor of this opportunity to speak directly with you. We bid you joy and peace.
Thank you.